Okay, in truth, I shouldn't really even need to bother with this presentation. If you don't know that design matters, then you may as well go home. But anyway, I'm going to try and talk about it a little bit. I run a company here called Colombo Design Studio. We are a product design consultancy. The word product is difficult to describe because really it encompasses lots and lots of things, but we make Badu stuff, things, the stuff that surrounds us, physical, digital, all sorts of things, really. I don't know what kind of companies are represented here, but we had someone say that you should have sustainability at the core of your business. I would argue that you should start by putting design at the core of your business. If you don't have creative people in your top management and in your boards of directors, that kind of thing, then I would argue that you're not going to go very far in the long term. It's nice to be introduced with Steve Jobs. Thank you very much for that. Maybe a little bit above my league, but obviously at the core of Apple is design, predominantly in the form of Johnny Ive, a fellow Brit, and a product designer, and Apple is valued as the most valuable company on earth. At the core of their business is design. So the first thing for you brandy people, I think a change is happening, and thanks to companies like Apple, this has been happening for a while, but you need to be or be aware of design-aware people. It's nice also to say that they're not just consumers, obviously, and words like stakeholders that get thrown around, which I don't really like. But the point here is that people are becoming more and more aware of good and bad design and more judgmental of those things. And this, again, relates to physical, digital websites and things. I don't know how many of you have tried to use any of the Sri Lanka's government portals, like web spaces, but I don't know why this is a country with huge companies making lots and lots of money in the digital space, and all of the government websites are hideous. And unusable. I was trying to find out about driving licenses yesterday. 5 phone numbers, none of them worked. You know, it's like, come on, it's completely ridiculous. And so to kind of complement that, your brand is more than just a logo. And you know, this idea of brand, everyone loves to throw it around, brand, 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 my brand, blah, blah, blah. Used to do a lot of work for Remington. What they used to do was take the Remington logo and stick it on a hairdryer that they buy from China, and then stick it on a hair straightener that they buy from China, and then stick it on a beard trimmer that they buy from China, and then hope that that was their brand then. There we go, got a hairdryer, says Remington on it, that's our brand. But actually, because of our design-aware consumers, the inconsistency of their products, which were coming from all different places, meant that their brand message was diluted and lost. So you've got to be consistent with your brand. Here's a person who's consistently kind of inconsistent, but at least he sticks to his guns a bit. So I'm going to race through like whether we can define good design. This is tricky for me to do in 3.5 minutes, but I'm going to have a little go. I developed my Olympic rings of unreadable design matrix here. I did this for a talk at AOD a little while ago. I'm waiting for people to challenge me on it, so please do if you like. But basically, when you're doing any kind of design, creative work, making things, you're kind of juggling various aspects that have to come together in more or less balance in order to have what you might call a good design. You have functionality, so most things other than, let's say, art, maybe, are sort of there to do something. So you have to get your doing things working. You also need them to be producible. So great to have Elon Musk as you know, examples brought up here. Does it do the thing it's supposed to do? Can I make it? Can I produce it? It's no good wanting a rocket that you can recycle or bring back down to Earth if you just can't make it. Also, is it affordable? Because again, if you want to go to Mars, it's fine, we can get there, we know that, but can we afford to go there? Is it desirable? Because people, you know, if you could spend all this time trying to make things and produce them and make them affordable, but if they're ugly or horrible or I don't want them, then there's also no point. And then the last one, which you can't read, says usability. I tried to make all of these illities because it sort of worked functionality, affordability, makeability, desirability. Usability really is people, designed for people. All of these things are for kind of human beings, really, and I mean that in the broadest sense. If you make something that destroys the planet, it's not good design because it's not good for people, because we need this planet. We only have this one currently, and if we ruin it, as we've been saying, then we don't have it anymore, and we're all going to be gone. So the usability aspect, you know, you can do all these things, but you've got to keep people in mind. The websites that you do, or the brands that you create, or all of these things, if they don't work for human beings in that broader sense, if they harm us, or if they poison our planet, or if they ruin our air, then they're not really designed for people, so you can't say that that's good design. So here's, so I'm talking to brandy people. How many of you know what brand is represented on this screen? You guys recognize the brand? Reasonably obvious, but do you know what these things are? Can you read what they're actually inside them? So what's the purpose of this packaging? Is it a billboard for the brand? Or is it to dispense some liquid? Is it for transportation? There's lots of reasons why we have packaging, but irritatingly, a lot of the time, the brand logo-y sort of thing jumps to the top, and you end up with something where the important bit, I don't know how to point with this thing, the bit that it is, like it's shampoo or whatever, gets lost. So if you wear glasses, I'm lucky enough not to, it must be fun in the shower trying to work out what on earth you're putting in your hair or in your teeth or anything else. Because the thing that this is not even shown in nice big writing. You can still tell that it's L'Oreal, well done brandy people, but you can't tell what it is. And goodness, you know, like trying to open these if you're one-handed, or if maybe you just got arthritis or a bit older, is also impossible. So is that designed for humans? Is it good design? No. So if you look at my awesome matrix of bubbles, the people bit's tiny here. Desirable, yes, that's the whole brandy thing. You can make it, these are designed for mass manufacture, so you can definitely make it, it's definitely affordable. Is it functionally good? I would argue that not. And is it usable? Definitely not. It's not good design for humans. And in that wider aspect, these things turn up on the beaches, pollute our planet. We're all talking about this kind of thing. I'm going to whiz on. The buses in Sri Lanka, a local example. Are these good design? I think we know that not. And on that wider brand issue, Sri Lanka is a brand, to come to the tourism thing. Sri Lanka is a brand, and all of these things represent the brand of Sri Lanka. Whether you can call the Department of Immigration because the phone numbers work, whether you can get on and off a bus if you're a little bit older or a bit, you know, less agile. All of these things are part of the brand of this country, and you need to understand that in order to bring in this bigger picture thing and actually get people coming. So how you answer your phone is your brand. How you greet people, whether the smile is genuine. Go to America and see how genuine the hey, how you doings feel after you've been like asked 100 times. So, you know, these are things that really are a wider picture about brand design, where you have to try and get this balancy thing worked out so that it's nice and even, and then you have a chance of getting good design. So good design, good for your brand, good for people, good for the planet, and thank you very much.